Well, well, well. You've seen the title. What could this episode be all about?
Yeah, we decided to kick Alex out, and this is our announcement video. A lot of bad things happened that we can't really talk about and get into here from like a legal perspective while the proceedings go forward. But that's just what's happening here. Just an announcement video.
Can we not start this narrative? I feel like we're gonna pull a Try Guys.
Whoa!
That's on you if you're worried about a Try Guys.
Jake, when you're like, Alex did some stuff, we can't talk about it. Like,
whoa. Anyway, we're not the Try Guys. We're the Tough Cut. Hello and welcome back. This is, if you don't know, this is drama from fucking 4 months ago.
He cheated on his wife, right? That's what it was.
With someone who works for him.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Well, that's why we don't have employees, so
we're rehashing Try Guys drama 4 fucking months, 5
Honestly,
months later.
But I feel
7
like
months?
people are into it. I feel like some people are into it. And look, it's 7 months later, but like someone could be listening to this accidentally like 10 years from now. If an alien were to gauge human culture from this episode, they need to know about the Try Guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I feel like they'd listen to this and then be like, "Ooh, who are the Try Guys?"
we're boosting their ratings, not even our own.
Hey, it's okay. Soon we'll be purchasing Second Try LLC in a.
Do you know what their LLC name is?
Yeah. Anyway,
I feel
don't say back. Yeah like it's common knowledge. What the fuck?
Hello and welcome back. We're the Tough Cut Podcast, not Second Try LLC. And I'm Matthew.
I'm Alex.
I'm Jake, but hold on. I feel like you literally, anytime you read a news story, instead of, getting the point of the story, you look up their LLCs, any LLCs attached first, and then you're like, oh, I can finally contextualize what's going on here from my perspective.
From my perspective.
Big finance boy only cares about the stocks.
Whoa, I didn't study finance. I just happen to be... I used to be good at trading stocks.
He's naturally gifted at finance.
God, wow. Beautiful. This is episode 101, part 1 of the Alex bracket. He didn't do anything reprehensible and is not kicked off the podcast.
Love that for me.
Well, unless he pitch 101 Dalmatians, because that should have been pitched for our bracket here today.
I didn't.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Because it's episode 101, Matt.
Oh, okay.
Don't what the fuck me.
Yeah, that's why I'm replacing one of my picks with Cruella.
Oh, which one? Do you want to tell us what's in? Actually, I'll tell us what's in the bracket. Save you some breath today, Alex. You're the specialist boy.
Oh, thanks.
Coming at you in today's episode, we've got Shrek versus Frozen, and then Jurassic Park versus Midnight in Paris. And then in the second half of the bracket, we've got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles versus Kung Pao Enter the Fist, and then Princess Bride versus 7 Days in Hell. So
now,
lots
hold
of
on.
fun.
I think it's important to clarify which Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles it is.
Mm-hmm. The one that hasn't come out yet. The Seth Rogen one that's going to come out.
You know, actually, I do think that one looks pretty good. But no, 1990, I believe, is the year.
So why did you make me watch the Megan Fox one? No, you sat my ass down. I got a cryptic email. It said, "I am Alex." In the
I am Alex. In order to save this prince from Nigeria, you need to sit down.
Well, anyway, Alex picked all the movies because this is his bracket. These movies matter to him.
And we love it. Look, this year we really wanted to celebrate because it's, we have 100 episodes. We've been doing this for a hot minute. This year we really just wanted to celebrate our people. We wanted to celebrate, So we're celebrating the members of the Tough Cut during their birthday month. We're celebrating them. So
and
this is Alex's.
Pick all the movies.
They get to pick all the movies, and we don't get to work as hard. It's great. I love it.
You just have to suffer through my awful taste.
No, you have great taste. But spoiler warning: we're going to be ruining these amazing movies you picked. All of them bangers, and except for that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle pick, I have Megan Fox one's better. But we'll be spoiling these movies. So if you want to watch along, which we encourage you do, please look out for spoilers if you haven't seen a movie like Shrek before.
Yeah, and I'm sure just as often as we like unloaded in the Jake bracket and we're like, man, audience, please watch this movie. It's so good. I'm sure we're going to be saying that repeatedly.
The fact that Matt said that makes me think he's not going to say that, and that makes me
I'm
feel
kidding.
bad.
I'm kidding. We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it. That's like the worst thing you could say.
Yikes.
That's like
Yikes.
the awful. Whenever we're doing prep for episodes, and I'm like really excited to show a movie to like one of my friends here, and I'm like, oh my god, so like I'm nervous. Like, what do you say? And then Matthew just gives a, "We'll talk about it."
Honestly, it is kind of like my coded phrase.
It's
in the
not
podcast
a good
prep.
time. It's not a good.
No.
time.
It was a light-hearted joke.
What accent did you try to do? Like, I don't.
I've done 3 different voices today. I'm on a absolute fucking.
I expect 10 by the
something.
time the episode ends, and we will be keeping track at home. Editor, can you put a timer in? Ding. Cool.
Okay.
Fucking Cinema Sins looking ass.
Cinema wins, more like it. Shut up.
That I'm okay with. Anyway, Alex, you
More
haven't
like-
been able to talk for 2 minutes. What's going on?
More like cinema shins, am I right?
Yeah, that's why we don't let Alex talk. So,
Yeah, I can go ahead and introduce the movies unless there's anything else we gotta
no,
do.
we're good. Yeah, start us off.
there are no
Sick.
content warnings for. Yeah, I feel like your movies will not have.
I probably not. So starting off the bat, we've got Shrek versus Frozen. Oh god, Google's not showing me the description of Shrek. Okay. Shrek. Wow, this is going really well, guys.
He's gonna leave that in. I bet.
Oh god, my computer's making noises. Shrek, released in 2001, directed by Andrew Adamson, Vicky Jensen, Mike Mitchell, Gary Trousdale, Conrad Vernon, Kelly Asbury, and Chris Miller.
Wild.
This is that movie about the ogre. He's living in a swamp. He's having a good life, but then there's a bunch of fairy tale creatures around him, and he's like, "What the heck?" So he's got to go get them out of there. He goes to the big political figure. Political figure's like, "I'll get those people off your land if you go rescue a princess." And he does that, and then they fall in love.
Him and the king.
Yep.
Anyway,
Yep. So why? I think like what happened in the Jake bracket. Why you guys think I picked this one?
I think this is the softball to start us off. It's Shrek. You noted Shrek 2 enjoyer, noted Shrek franchise enjoyer. This movie just meant a lot to you as a kid. It was a film that yourself and your brother bonded over, watched a lot. Yeah.
Oh my god! Holy shit!
I've never been jump scared by a Shrek figurine before.
He pulled up the Shrek figurine. That's insane. Yeah, no, this one is clearly like you're a very wholesome guy, as shown. If anyone's watched the if anyone's listened to a lot of these episodes, you could Alex's picks, Alex's reactions to some of Matthew and I's curse picks. I'm very excited to have just a wholesome little time in this bracket. And I think Shrek is I'm surprised he didn't pick Shrek Forever After. But,
Are you?
no, I'm not. But this is just a solid first. I feel like it encapsulates, you're just let me sit and be who I am. I feel like you're never afraid to just be who you are, and that's what Shrek's about, baby. So I love that.
Literally, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, you guys hit the nail on the head. Like Matt said, this movie has a special place in my heart from watching it so much with my brother. It's a party trick we do for my grandparents, where Ben and I will do the gingerbread man scene, and we'll just start doing it, and
So-
everyone stops talking to listen to us do it.
Which one of you lays on a slab?
We more do the lines, I guess. We don't act it
Boo!
Oh,
You
man,
said
but that's-
party trick.
out. That's the evolution of it. Next time.
Yeah, next family
We'll
event,
choreograph
one
it.
of you just hop on, throw the tablecloth off the table and lay down and
Lay
belt
down.
those lines out.
Chop off your little
Yeah.
legs,
Saw
Yeah,
them
yeah, yeah.
off.
Yes, that way the other one can like do a little dance. Yeah, exactly.
That's cute though. I like that.
Thanks.
I
Yeah,
could
this
see
movie.
that. Like I could see it vividly. That's why it's a great pick for you. I
Oh,
hate
yeah.
the movie. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No, it's so good.
No, Shrek's great.
Yeah, it's a great movie. I think the one difficulty that I had with it is that I do think that Shrek 2 is my favorite of the Shrek movies. And I was debating whether or not to pick Shrek 2. We already talked about it in the sequels bracket all the way back when we first started this whole thing. So, there is that. That it's not my favorite Shrek movie, but is very good.
And it started it off,
Yeah. Did the whole thing.
Yeah, it's a great film. It carries, obviously, Shrek 2 carries a lot of the same DNA. So, in terms of like gut reactions, they're very similar. Like it is wearing those pop cultural elements on its sleeve, using those references really effectively. The choices of music, I think, are really fun. It's just like a good movie through and through.
It's so interesting it had that many directors. I feel like animation that happens a lot. And I don't know whether it's because, some shenanigans with DreamWorks of like time allocated to artists, or like people getting fired, or like people get like that's so interesting to me. I don't know the lore behind it. Looking behind the scenes of any animated project is very telling and very interesting. That's just like a little fun fact. I just thought you like kept naming directors, and I was like, oh my god.
Oh yeah, no, it's a ton. I am not very intimately familiar with the production of Shrek. I do know that it was originally Chris Farley, and then they switched over to Mike Myers, who then had them to like entirely re-record all of the audio. He recorded it once, and then in post-production was like, wait, what if I did this like Scottish accent, and then re-recorded all of the audio.
And that's probably why one director dropped out, because they're like, I'm not coming back for that fucking bullshit. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I think though this was a movie that was like in production hell for a little bit, that then became DreamWorks' darling. But
it's a 9/11 movie. Wait, when did it come out?
2001.
Yeah, it was a 9/11 movie, so that's important to note.
Could have been before.
April 22nd.
Then it has some explaining to do.
Why didn't it tell us?
Guys, I think worth noting.
Yeah,
it came out on my birthday.
Whoa!
This is my Shrek is my birthday movie.
Are you spiritually Shrek?
I'm an ogre.
Honestly,
that's a line from Shrek too. But
yeah, you want to go ahead and introduce what it's up against, Alex?
Yeah, it's not alone here. It's going up against Frozen, directed by Jennifer Lee and Chris Buck, released in 2013. This new age Disney classic.
A decade ago? Oh,
yeah,
I'm gonna jump off a bridge.
Well, only 9 years. It was November 2013. Two princesses lose their parents, stay in a castle for their whole lives. One of them comes of age, ready to become queen, but oh no, it gets scary when she turns the whole world into perpetual winter and runs away. And then Kristen Bell has to go get her back. Story about sisterhood. Why you guys think I picked this one?
I think you love your sister. I think,
Yeah, your sister Gruntilda.
I think
you never talk about
Gruntilda. Yeah. We don't talk about Gruntilda because we agreed.
I'm talking about Gruntilda.
I think for Frozen, similar to Shrek, like there's this like genuine love of animated Disney-esque fare. I know Shrek is DreamWorks, but I feel like you love like animated geared towards children stories. And I also think maybe this was the first one to kind of, because for me personally, I'm not a big fan of Frozen, but the parts I really like. I really enjoyed how this was about sisterhood, and it was Disney princesses, like, coming together, not like to, whatever. It's like the power of love.
Man.
They still had the man plot and like whatever, but it's like the solution was about. Yeah, exactly. So I think maybe it was you starting like 10 fucking years ago, starting to shift the gears in your like childhood to where it wasn't just about funny ogre man poots, where it was about, this could be like a little more, and it's a little more complicated, and you really start to think about those things. So that's my reasoning.
Yeah, so this one was one that I have not heard you espouse tremendous amounts of love for Frozen. I think this element of like powerful love between siblings, like the, sisterly love can just as well be translated to brotherly love. There is also, though, like the only reference ostensibly I've heard you continue to make is the yoo-hoo big summer blowout. However, maybe a long shot, but if my timelines are right, this movie would have come out around-ish the time that you and your current wife got together. I don't know if that plays into it.
Matt, you've hit the nail on the
Nice.
head.
Ooh,
Good job.
wow. I was sitting there poring over it, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Good job.
This
I
was,
gave it no thought at all.
Yeah, I think this was one of the harder ones to guess. This is the first movie that Marina and I saw in theaters together.
That's
since we started
amazing.
dating.
Oh my gosh.
Great job, crushed it.
Yeah. I
And
texted him the answer. I just want to be very
the other
clear
thing
to
about
the
it
audience.
too, like I think
Thanks, Jake.
part of it too, like the reason that it stood out as the first movie we saw together is like I don't have a sister, but Marina does, and Marina has red hair, and her older sister is blonde,
That's
and
yeah.
they were always friends, but like I guess when they were middle school, high school, they like weren't like best friends, and now they're very good friends. So it was like I think and it was one of those things where like a theme of our relationship has been me like dragging Marina to go see movies because she doesn't want to see them because she's like, I'll hate this. And then I'm like, no, you'll probably like it. And she goes and she likes it. This was like one of the first ones. And it was like, I'm too old for Disney movies. Like, why are we going to see a Disney movie? And then it just like ripped her heart apart. So yeah, that's why I picked this one.
I feel good about that. Nice.
Yeah, you nailed it.
Yeah, I actually quite like Frozen. It was, I think, maybe somewhat similar to Marina. Like I was maybe like hitting the phase as a mid-teen, whatever. It was like, oh, I'm too old for Disney movies. And I saw this and I was like, wow, I actually really enjoyed that movie. I think maybe to some of what Jake was saying earlier, though he didn't really expound on it, but I'm going to steal it. I do think that there are things that aren't like perfect about the film. But like it is, I think, a genuinely enjoyable movie. And like, hey, I like the music a lot.
It did make me want to build a snowman, I will say. That's my favorite song of the whole thing. I think that whole sequence is very inspired. I'm a big fan of that. I think I just like question how it like blew up the way it did. Like Frozen's like a stronghold. And like I was a kid when this came out. Like, it's not like it was I didn't understand that vibe, or it's like, oh, this isn't made for me anymore. Like, but it blew up. Like people love it. And then it got like a Game of Thrones style like sequel. Like the trailer was insane. I don't know if you remember that, audience, or you guys, but the trailer, when I saw it, I was like, what's going on? What's happening? It's like when Cars 3 had that trailer where like it was like,
wait, did you guys okay, hold on. Did you see Cars 3? Cars 3?
I can't remember.
No.
You would remember if you saw Cars 3. Cars 3 is actually a phenomenal movie. Where the second one was like, oh, we're spies. The third one is
how do you
like,
remember the second movie?
Well, I never
It was
saw
like
the second movie. The
Mater
second one
commits
is
an
like
act
there
of
are planes.
international terrorism while on
The
foreign
third
soil.
one, we're not talking about Cars 3 in this bracket, but the third Cars movie is like him, and he's like a racer past his prime, and he's like trying to get back on the track so that way he can like
the trailer.
do
he
it.
like fucking like is so intense.
Yeah.
He like spirals out and dies.
He's in like it's like car physical therapy to like get back on the race for
it's
one
like
last
really
race.
depressing. And same with Frozen 2. Like I don't have an issue when things are popular and people like them. Like I'm not that person. But for some things, I genuinely like I don't understand it.
What about
and
Avatar?
I don't hate it because it's popular. I've made that very clear on this podcast and in life. I do not
It
hate it
definitely
because it's
seems to
popular.
sting you a little. It's the highest grossing film of all time.
No, it pisses me off that people like it so much, but I don't hate it because it's popular. I hate
Okay,
it
that's
because
fair.
it's a bad movie.
Good clarification.
Yeah. Like
Sure.
I don't like that people like it, but I don't hate it because people like it.
That's fair. That's a good
Enlightened.
distinction.
That's like, yeah, that's whoo, don't get me ooh. You're gonna be all riled up, and now I'm gonna attribute Frozen to Avatar. You just fucked yourself for the whole rest of the bracket.
Oh no, one of my movies isn't gonna move on.
No, I'm voting for neither now.
Oh shit, fuck.
Anyway, we should compare these films.
One didn't get compared to Avatar, so I like that one a lot more.
Oh my god.
I think what's interesting about both of these movies is that they're kind of not necessarily genre bending, but they're kind of expectation defying, right? Like Shrek is very much not your average kind of fairy tale movie, right? Like it's a love story, but I feel like it breaks away from the typical fairy tale love stories in many ways. Like obviously Shrek is not your classic fairy tale protagonist. And I think, we already talked about it with Frozen, right? Where like the love story is in it, but it's a red herring, it's more about that sisterly love. So, I think that's an interesting thing that they both
So
have.
how does that relate to you, Alex? I mean, how do you feel about like breaking the mold? This is the Alex bracket. This is how you asked me. Like, it's not necessarily like I want to know how you felt about seeing these two movies, kind of not have traditional things and why it rung true to
resonates.
You.
Yeah, I mean, I think like with Shrek in particular, like I was always a fan of the fractured fairy tale genre. Like I remember having that
Hoodwinked.
Hoodwinked, Hoodwinked 2. Those are the main ones.
Mm-hmm.
That is not true. I remember like having
the first major like kind of, at least in like the modern zeitgeist, like fractured fairy tale-ish story, like Shrek. I can't think
at least in modern times. You have
probably like recent memory.
They have like Brothers
anyway, sorry
Grimm
to interrupt you. Well, all the stories date back to Brothers Grimm. That's where they come from.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
I guess inherently they were originally fractured. We unfractured them.
Yeah,
and now
exactly.
we fracture them again. But this
I'm trying to be enlightened again, Matthew. I'm trying to really come on.
He's riding that high. Sorry to interrupt you, Alex. Go ahead.
I just think that like I think Shrek probably came out at just like the perfect time for me, where it was like I was, I don't know, like 4 years old. I turned 4 when Shrek came out. I turned 3 or 4. And so it was like, I was a little kid. I knew all the fairy tales. And I was old enough because this was like an animated movie. My parents, I'm sure, didn't realize like all of the jokes that are in it that are like, would zoom over my head. And so it was just like the way they make fun of Pinocchio and like the wolf from like the Big Bad Wolf. Like those jokes just like hit me real good.
Was he like a porn addict? The wolf?
No,
is that me like...
He just cross-dresses.
No, I know that, but I think that wasn't there some... Am I like totally...
He has like a Pork Illustrated magazine or something, I think, or something like that. I don't know if that's in this one or the next one.
Yeah, I feel like I'm getting Mandela affected right now. I remember the wolf having a crippling porn addiction.
Literally, in this movie, the wolf has one line. He just looks up from the bed and goes, "What?"
Well, I just think, like, knowing you, Alex, and it's the Alex bracket, I just felt that...
my crippling porn addiction? You thought it was, like, really relatable for me?
I mean, both of these films have characters like that.
Olaf. Yes!
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and then I think, like, with Shrek, just as I got older, I was someone who... like had self-body image issues and stuff like that. And so like when I like came back to this movie when I was a little older and I was like, oh shit, like this movie actually rocks. And so like my brother and I would watch it together and it just became like a, it would be like we're hanging out playing video games and it's like 11 p.m. and we're like, do we want to go to bed or do we want to hang out tonight? And it was like if we're hanging out, we're either going to continue playing video games or we're going to like put Shrek on.
Yeah, nice.
And
crazy.
Yeah, it was great.
I love that. I mean, that's that's why I love these brackets, because it's less about, you know, comparing the movies as like a go to head, which one is I like better sort of a deal, and like just talking about how it impacted you, and like that's the reason why I like movies in general. I think, yeah, Shrek to me feels more of the obvious pick, like you said, than Frozen does. I know Frozen like is like a good movie to a lot of people. I know you have the connection to your wife, and that's beautiful and lovely. But this ain't about her.
I do have a connection with my wife. Thank you.
Oh, wow.
What I'll say about Frozen, like, I think I'm underselling it. Shrek has had a bigger part of my life for longer, so it's like easier to talk about, right? But I think like when Frozen first came out, like I went pretty hard into the soundtrack. I could sing a lot of those songs from memory right now.
Sing the worst one.
I would love to hear that.
God, but Jake, then I have to decide what the worst one is.
I wanted to know.
Don't put Baby in a corner.
I probably my least favorite song is the Reindeers Are Better Than People one, but that's because it's just like 30 seconds.
There's not enough of it.
Hot take. One of my favorite songs in that movie is the opening, Beware the Frozen Heart. I used to listen to that on the bus on the way to school.
Well, congrats. Disney's now going to take down this episode.
Hey, which like I totally get, Alex. You know, like as I said, I like the music from this.
What's your favorite song? Sing, 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 sing.
Yeah, sing your favorite song.
Sing, sing.
Here's what I'll say is that this came out when I was like full in the Gremlin era. So I chiefly believe I listened to these songs as
Where
are
is
you gonna say? Are you about to fucking say
this?
StarCraft to like remasters of them? Are you about to say
God,
like recontextualization?
No,
I
would never do something so uncouth to the Frozen soundtrack. No, actually, I listened to Dota 2 parodies of the Frozen soundtrack.
We deserve to study your brain.
Honestly, that's what I've been saying.
But can you sing one of those for me though?
I can't
said it before. Get a couple drinks in him, and he does sing it for you.
Or he goes on a rant about olive oil. It's kind of a 50-50 toss-up.
Unironically true, though. Any song from, like, the, I don't know, early to mid-2000s, if it's on at, like, a party and I've had a couple of drinkies, you'll quietly hear me singing the lyrics switched up to the StarCraft 2 versions. Jake has called me on it too many times. He's like, I thought you wouldn't know the lyrics to this song.
My favorite thing to do at, like, a social function is to silently listen to Matthew when he thinks no one's paying attention to him. Because he genuinely believes that no one's paying attention to him when there's a lot of people at a party. And it is my favorite thing to do. Just listen to him.
Anyway, yeah, I think it's, as I said, like initially it seems really interesting that Frozen was one of the picks because it's not one that you've like carried through as like as much an outspoken piece of your identity, but like once the pieces clicked together as far as the timeline went, I was like, oh, this probably has something to do with Marina. And like it always like itched at me that the big summer blowout was like a thing that had stuck with you enough that you're referencing it, you know, many years later when you finally meet me.
Did I reference that a lot? Like I know I did the Baby Bjorn voice, but that I don't know was like
you and Perry would
I don't know if I remember
say it
hearing...
at each other.
Oh no, we were doing Sven und Sven.
That rings more of a bell. I mean, I give quotes to Surf's Up all the time. Doesn't mean Surf's Up, you know, is one of my core.
It's an emotionally important film for you.
I mean, honestly, I love that movie, but like, it's not, you know, like.
Regardless, sort of what I'm getting at is like, I think that there are lots of pieces about this film that like it makes sense would resonate with you or things that you would have enjoyed. You know, sort of like. The point I'm trying to make ultimately. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he pitched it. You don't got to convince him.
I know. I'm just saying.
No, totally.
You can pitch anything you want.
That is true.
catch us next week when Alex unveils that he switched one of the movies that we watched
to Cruella. I'd be fine with it, honestly.
Yeah. Well, what I will say when it comes to Frozen, not to get us locked in them weeds, but the fact that in the first 10 minutes we get you get the sick ass headshot, and then the parents saying we'll be back in 2 weeks, proceed to die immediately, are literally comedy gold.
Yeah, I guess like what I'm wondering is like, with the way that this movie was made, do you think they set out and were like, oh, we're going to do an Up, like the saddest first 15
Yeah,
minutes,
it felt very like they
minutes
tried to
since
do
Up?
Pixar, like, you know, Pixar's emotional gripping beginnings, like hardcore in this one is what it felt like. I'm trying to separate my feelings about like Frozen as like something I don't enjoy as much versus like, you know, it's not really about that. It's about how it represents you, Alex. But I feel like I've only heard like kind of like one reasoning and then like vague reasonings. Like Matthew, you said like I get it, but you haven't said like kind of how it connects to Alex yet. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, we haven't talked about my ice magic powers.
oh, well, come on, lay it on. I mean, and that's from Shrek, though.
I mean, like, you think I'd be friends with
honestly,
someone
point for both,
when
point for
they
both.
don't have something transactional to add, like
Yeah.
ice powers?
I remember the wolf having a crippling porn addiction and ice powers. I just don't, like, did I watch the same movie? Did I, like...
No, you watched Frozen 2010, the film where they're stuck on a ski lift.
That really got me. That's really funny.
Thank you. I think a lot of what it comes down to is similar to the question you initially launched this off with. The idea of like, not that Alex is like inherently a subversive figure.
He is to me.
It's built. It's in his DNA. But like,
different.
I feel like there is something really, really sweet in the reasons why Frozen chooses to buck the traditional Disney princess trend and have the film not chiefly be about like finding romantic love. Is just like, there's something very heartfelt to that. And I think that is sort of where the film, you know, is frequently its most genuine. And I think that those are elements or emotions that remind me of Alex, like the just like being a genuine, just tremendously heartfelt human being, you know.
Mm-hmm. Which is, you could say, similarly to Shrek. I mean, there's a lot of heartfelt stuff.
Man's really going to bat for Shrek right now.
Well, it's not.
I have a
it's
question.
just for me. It feels more like it just feels more Alex, and that's what the bracket's all about to me.
Okay, I have a question, and you guys might not know this. Which version of Shrek did you watch? Did you watch the original version or the like remastered version? And there are only a couple differences, but one of the main ones that always stands out to me and how I can always tell which version I'm watching. At the beginning of the movie, when Donkey like is first meeting Shrek and he's starting to sing like the my troubles have all gone. There's no one to
nobody
drive
knows
me.
the.
If music starts playing in the background of that, you know you have the remastered version, and if there's no music, it's the original version. And it's very like small differences. But yeah, I'm curious which ones you watched.
I
watched the Norwegian one where the wolf has a crippling porn addiction.
Well, now that we've gotten to the bottom of that.
My man just wanted to flex that he knew the subtle differences between the remaster.
I mean, I was just wondering if you guys...
Are there... What is the biggest difference between the two? I have no idea which one I watched.
Probably that one. Probably that, honestly.
I have no idea.
You wanted to flex?
Which one's on Hulu?
I don't know.
Here's what I'll say about watching it on Hulu.
Not
when you get
sponsored, by the way.
When you get to the end of the film, it says next up Shrek 2 and starts counting down like as if you're watching a television series that's about to begin the next episode.
Honestly, that's my ideal viewing preference for Shrek. Is that it just immediately goes into Shrek 2.
That does make sense, though.
Just keeps going.
Party never stops.
Well,
when you're an ogre.
regardless, sort of given the timing here, I do think we need to vote. Though
I'm ready to vote. I think I've made my position clear here. I do think that Shrek just feels more Alex to Jakey, so I'm voting Shrek here.
Yeah, I can go next. I am also going to vote for Shrek. It's an integral part of Alex's DNA. Jake is to Muppets as Alex is to Mickey's and Shrek. And also to give Alex the opportunity to I don't know, get to vote for the movie he saw with his wife. Yeah.
And he won't.
She doesn't listen to the show, so I guess we're fine.
I mean, I was going to say, I love my wife, but I love Shrek.
What a good sentence. And I guarantee a lot of people have said that before in their lives.
Yeah, probably.
No,
I mean,
anyway,
I love my wife very much. I am going to vote for Shrek.
Okay, well, Shrek advances
because I've
3 for 3.
I've always voted like the movie that I love more, right? And I feel like true to me, I love Shrek more than Frozen.
That's real. See, I know Alex. I'm going to vote perfectly. I'm going to be so in line with Alex in this bracket. It's going to be insane.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Shrek is moving on, but we've got 2 more movies we've got to talk about. So up first, we've got Jurassic Park, released in 1993, directed by, Google. So there are 3 directors apparently for Jurassic Park. Steven Spielberg is not the first one. There are 4. J.A. Bayona, Colin Trevorrow, Steven Spielberg, and Joe Johnston.
And you know what? I bet those other 3 did way more work than he did. And I bet he's just a little gremlin, evil corporate boy.
What the hell list are you reading off?
Yeah, I actually don't know it.
I Googled Jurassic Park, and in the About section, on the right side of Google, there's a director's thing, and it says those 4 names.
It sure does.
Who knows if that's real or not? That's what I've done for every movie I've pitched for the last however long we've been doing this podcast.
That's really fun. What if it's just like the fucking assistant directors or some shit? That'd be really funny.
Because I always knew this movie as a Steven Spielberg
It's
movie,
definitely just Steven Spielberg.
I mean, like, there are definitely like additional directors listed, but I don't know who these people are.
Maybe one of them is like a costuming director, an art director.
Oh, you know what? Colin Trevorrow directed Jurassic World, Jurassic World Fallen, and Jurassic
this is for
World
the
Dominion.
Series. That's it. That's why.
Yeah.
Okay. Then Steven
this.
Spielberg. Steven Spielberg directed Jurassic Park in 1990.
Well, maybe we should. Maybe Shrek did not have that many directors. Now that we really think about it.
Now that we think about it,
I like how I didn't notice it at all for Shrek. I'm like, yeah, that sounds believable.
Well, usually, like animated, like they'll be like 2 or 3. That's why I was surprised when you listed so many.
But I'll correct it. I'll correct it for next time.
4.
I'll fix it. I'm not going to fix it in post because I'm too lazy, but I'll fix it for next time we talk about Shrek. So Jurassic Park, released in 1993, directed by Steven Spielberg. This one is about.
It sounds like there should be more directors for
this one's about. There's some archaeologists, and a rich person is like, "Hey, I've been funding your dig, but now you got to do some work for me." And they're like, okay. And he takes them to this island where he's genetically bred a bunch of dinosaurs. And it's about the hubris of man and rich people. And it all goes horribly wrong. So why you guys think I picked this one?
Dinosaur Kid.
Yeah. Oh my God. I literally was about to say, that's so insane. I literally was gonna 2-word it. I was gonna be like, "You were a Dino Kid."
Yeah, literally.
You were aggressively if you guys look at this man, you will think he was a Dino Kid. You will think 3 things: he's a Dino Kid, he bites,
and he got a Shrek statue on his desk.
Got a Shrek statue.
If for some reason you can switch out the clothes on that Shrek statue, and you don't know what state of undress he's in.
Okay, context. This is a Shrek statue. This is a Shrek statue that I got at Dollar Tree.
That's sick.
The fact that you
honestly.
felt compelled to get a Shrek statue at Dollar Tree is like
Well,
amazing.
okay, so I was with my mom, and we do this thing over the holidays where you like wrap a bunch of candy and toys and crap in like a cellophane ball, and you have to unwrap it. And like if you like unwrap the thing, you get the prize.
Yeah.
And my brother and I love Shrek, and so there were like Shrek, Fiona, Donkey, and Puss in Boots, and I think there was also a Farquaad, but we couldn't find it. And so we like put those in the cellophane ball, and I got Shrek.
That's
Man,
cute.
the Puss
I
in
like
Boots
that.
movie was so good. Anyway, yeah.
Anyway.
Did we hit the nail?
I was kind of a dinosaur kid. What I'll say is, when I was a little kid, my
Ooh.
brother and I used to watch this like dinosaur special on Discovery Channel where they like animated a bunch of dinosaurs and they walked around.
Oh, I know that one, actually.
Yeah, and it was pretty good. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Then what Jurassic Park specifically did was it was the first movie I can remember watching and liking that was not made for kids. So
you were
this
a
was
dino
like,
kid.
I mean, I guess.
True.
Yeah, I guess it was a Dino Kid. You guys got it.
Nice.
Um,
No, but that's awesome. I like that. I love like remembering the first real, like, not real. I shouldn't say it like that, but like the first movie you saw that was like adult movie
Yeah,
in your
and
head
it was
as
like,
a kid.
right. And I like, there are so many key moments from it that stick out to me as a kid. And like, I was so scared of this movie. And it's like a kind of scary movie. It's not like a horror
especially for a
movie,
kid.
but it's a
No,
thriller
just
for
scary.
sure. Yeah. Yeah. So, I've always liked it. And as I watch it again, I always have a good time with it. I think it does a lot of fun stuff. I remember when I was in Boy Scouts, we did a camp where we went and stayed on an island for a week, and we just like slept outside on an island. And while I was on the island, I read Jurassic Park that week, the book. And so that was like a
He's
really
read the novel.
fun experience for me.
Mm.
But yeah, what do you guys think about this movie? I don't know that I've ever talked to either of you about it.
What do you think we think?
Yeah, what do you think we think?
I think you guys like it. It's a pretty good movie. I think it's got a bunch of fun stories that Jake would like with the animatronics.
This is true.
Yeah. What you guys think?
I don't know why
Jake?
Matthew's stalling. He has cursed energy about this one. I don't like it. No, I think this movie is a classic. I like the movie a lot. I think the series as a whole has a bad taste in my mouth recently
sure,
because
yeah,
the last
for
two
sure.
movies were dog water. But I think it's an awesome, like, stands the test of time, really, really fun premise. Like, it's cool to talk about dinos. It made me want to watch The Land Before Time, but that's a me thing, not an Alex thing. Yeah, I just think it's great. The score's awesome. I will say the
Yeah.
best scene in any Jurassic Park movie is the Velociraptor in the plane in the dream sequence where it's like, Alan.
My friends and I went so hard on that bit.
It's so funny. Like, it's a great bit. Like, it's genuinely, it will play in my head from time to time. It's very
I
good.
used to work with someone named Alan, and
Oh.
every time I saw him, I had this like primal urge to look at him and go, Alan. And we did not have a relationship where I could do that to him. Yeah.
You could do it to me.
Yeah.
Alan.
So my thoughts. I love Jurassic Park.
Yes.
Like, really love Jurassic. So we never really took any classes together while we were in college. And I'd gotten it mostly out of my system by the time we did. I used to, like, it was like a piece of my high school and prior DNA. I would hum the score of Jurassic Park while I took tests to the
Wow.
chagrin of everyone around me. Actually, one of our housemates, Jake, has had that as part of his lived experience.
Yep.
And provided that review of me, I believe.
This is true.
Wow.
This is objectively true. I feel like I've caught you on more than one occasion humming, but I thought it was like the StarCraft parody of it, so I was confused.
Okay, yeah. No, I love Jurassic Park. I think it is a spectacular film. I think it's a very interesting adaptation. I think the score is great. I think the animatronics look awesome.
Yeah.
Fun story about Jurassic Park that I just remembered during quarantine. I have a friend who like met in England, and she like during quarantine was like reaching out to me. We were talking like a little bit more, and for my birthday, she sent me a Jurassic Park like long sleeve shirt as a gift.
Wow.
And I was like, why? Because I didn't like mention it or whatever. And she's like, oh, you like movies? And I just thought like this is like the most movie like cool like thing you could wear. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna rock this shit. But like, that's so I'd never brought it up. It's not like I was like Jurassic Park is my favorite thing in the world. But I just thought it was so sweet that like when she thought about movies, it was Jurassic Park.
That's crazy.
So I think that's fun.
I have two tangents based off of the two things that you said. In terms of Jurassic Park t-shirts, so when I was in high school, I wore a lot of graphic tees, and they were largely from the like Target graphic tee section.
Nice.
And I got a Jurassic Park one. And of the graphic tees that I have had since high school, that is probably the only one that I like still have and still wear. Tangentially, talking about Jurassic Park music, when I was writing essays in college, one of the songs that I would listen to was like a string instrument rendition of the Jurassic Park theme. So
Beautiful.
Very good time.
Can you sing it for us?
There's another movie in this matchup.
They
Do you
do
want to
move in
introduce it?
herds. Oh yeah.
They do move in herds. I do say that as well, and I feel like I never get the cadence right, because I feel like I say it and people are like, what the fuck do you mean? Like we're looking at like a field of corn,
Yeah. That's so good. That's a good bit. But it's going up against Midnight in Paris. This one only has one director on Google, probably because there are no sequels directed by other people, and unfortunately, that director is Woody Allen.
Yeah. You're not winning any brownie points with this one.
It released in 2011. Owen Wilson is in a relationship with Rachel McAdams, and they're in Paris. And he is a writer looking for inspiration, and he gets transported to like 1930s Paris, or like 1920s or something, and he's having a great time there, and he meets like with all the great writers and great artists of that time.
Tom Hiddleston and Adrian Brody.
Tom Hiddleston is there, Adrian Brody is there, and that's very cool.
Brody is Salvador Dali.
Yeah.
It's so
Corey
good.
Stoll, the guy who played MODOK in Ant-Man Quantumania.
Wow, that's actually so unfortunate because he does such a good job as Ernest Hemingway.
He does. He does do
movie.
A good job. But it's really funny because Ant-Man sucks.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Why do you guys think I picked this one?
I love this pick for you. I think it's like a very fun... I hate that Woody Allen's attached to it. That's a bummer. Bad taste in the almond mouth. But I like that you picked it because I think it's indicative of like, you still pick something that meant something to you even though like bad shit has happened since. I feel like you were honest with it. I do think you're a romantic boy. I think you romanticize like a lot of things, and I think especially like a romance fantasy, which is what this is, feels very you because it's like the side like kind of fantasy, like whatever worlds of like stuff, but you get it in like a very genuine romantic, like cute whatever thing. So I think that's very emblematic of who you are, and you're more like romantic and romanticizing, not just romantic like in like a ooh kiss me kind of a deal, but like in a I'm trying to sleep with Alex, Matthew. You don't have to make
I know. I was just shocked by how seductive that was.
But also like in a you romanticized life, and I feel like this is a very fantastical romanticizing thing. So I like the pick for you.
Yeah, so I think that the idea of romanticization is a pretty clear through line here.
Oh, God, I should have mentioned something about wife. Okay. I had to cover my bases. Sorry.
No, I don't have like a third eye opening, like good connection on this one. Yeah, I don't know. This one caught me off guard, like well and truly, and Yeah, we'll get into it. I don't know what's the take here, Alex.
So Jake, you were pretty close actually.
Yeah, I'm good at what I do.
In middle school was like very infatuated with the idea of like, well, that, but also the idea of like classic romanticism of like finding beauty in the mundane or the ugly and like that kind of thing. And I think that partially stemmed from my like lack of self-respect. Like disliking myself. So like this idea of like finding beauty in the ugly.
Real. That's very real.
This movie, I think, similarly kind of was just like a perfect storm of when it came out and like what it meant to me. The idea of like art and like the escapism of it and like feeling like I'm like trapped in middle school and like the girls don't like me, but like if I was in this like art, if I was in this time of like great art and like beauty, like I could be someone and like I could like, you know, and it was also at the same time, like in middle school, I read The Old Man and the Sea or whatever. And so like Ernest Hemingway was in it. And I was like, I know that guy. And so it's like I was reading all these like works of all these like books written by these people that are in this movie. And so it was just kind of like, I don't know, just kind of came out at the right time.
Hiddleston would talk to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't know Loki would come for you. Wow, two of those people are in the MCU now. That's crazy. Where's Adrian Brody in the MCU?
Please.
Please.
I'm waiting for Owen Wilson to be Ant-Man too.
He
was in Loki. That's crazy. Wow, do you think this was like a big reuniting for them?
No, they hated each other famously on this set. So Matthew, why do you hate Midnight in Paris? Talk about it.
Whoa, you're just unloading. Okay. This is the we'll talk about it.
I knew it. And it is for me too. I think I'm with you.
So this was a movie that has been on my mind for the past 2-ish weeks since I watched it, or week and a half, whatever. And I've been thinking a lot about it. When I initially watched it, I quite liked it. I was like, it's a very pretty movie. I think it's generally pretty well acted. It's like fairly lighthearted and fun. But it like the more I stewed on it, something began itching at my mind that I haven't been able to get out of it. Owen Wilson's character reminds me a lot of Emily from Emily in Paris.
All right, so that's the end of this episode. Tune in next week to find out what the fuck is going on.
And the reason for that connection chiefly stems from Owen Wilson, or Gil, shows zero accountability for his actions.
Yeah.
And that the movie seeks to portray him as the hero of all of this when, like, yeah, Rachel McAdams sucks.
But not in general. We love you, Rachel McAdams. I want to make that very clear.
Inez sucks. But Gil sucks too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was literally going to steal his fiance's earrings to give them to a woman from 70 years ago because he read in her diary that she had a dream he gave her earrings and they had sex. Like, man is down so bad. And it isn't in like, he gets caught trying to do this. And it's not even like a self-reflective moment. He just goes and buys different earrings. Like, Gil literally doesn't, like, shows no accountability, has this big revelation of like, wow, I'm so caught up in nostalgia and like how things used to be. And it's like, okay, motherfucker. But like, maybe if instead of tromping off to 1930s, if you like, I don't know, went to fucking couples therapy, you guys could like figure some of your shit out.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I think that's the thing. And I think that's part of why I resonated so much as like a middle schooler was because like I sucked in middle school. Like I was a shitty person.
Yeah.
So it was like,
oh, that's not good actually.
Not
Shit.
like Gil not self-reflecting and like being the protagonist was great for me because I didn't self-reflect.
Yeah, and it was like confirmation you're seeing an adult doing it and you're just like
I'm like,
You're like, I
this
don't
is
gotta do that shit.
well, and it's not like I was actively thinking like, oh yeah, if I was dating someone and there was someone who was gonna have sex with me, like I'd steal some earrings. But it was like,
I'm not saying like middle school me if I'm going through puberty and I look at Mary Cotillard and she's like, I want to do stuff. I don't know, man. This is a terrible metaphor, but
I think to
And,
like to spin it, I like in middle school was not someone who was like, oh, people like girls don't like me. It must be like there's something like it was like a there's something wrong with me, but it was like at the same time like I shouldn't have to fix myself kind of thing. Like it was like a defiance, but also like an unwillingness to examine myself and the things that
it was
actually
immaturity.
made
It
me
was,
shitty.
yeah.
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 And Woody Allen is very immature. So
I think that's like a really enlightened twist to like reflect on yourself.
I think it's very
which is-
self-aware. Like I like it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like you took the words right out of my mouth, Jake. The piece I'll give though is that like the movie still tries to play Gil as like the good guy in the end.
For
like
sure.
it doesn't reflect at all. And like I think it's totally good to have characters that are self-reflective or unrepentant. Like it can be really interesting, but like the film has to then like do something with how they portray them or how it is framed. This movie does none of that. And I think that's what like has really gotten me. But I do love that connection to yourself. I think it's like it is, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's honest.
yeah.
Like I think that like that's why I said like I love the pick for you like in general because I felt like you picked something to where like it could be seen as like a cringe or like a whatever like thing and not in a bad way, like genuinely not in a bad way, but I feel like you were honest about why you picked it and I like that.
Yeah. It's a very, very good point.
Because it is a beautiful movie. Like it's not like, you know.
Talking about Jurassic Park, there's a big elephant in the room. And maybe it's because I just watched Jurassic Park and the FBI agent in my phone is like, oh, I'm going to send him dinosaur articles now.
Dino Kid.
I can't tell if this is current news or what. Apparently the T-Rex in Jurassic Park is all wrong. And that's because it didn't have the T-Rex in Jurassic Park. They figured out now based on science looking at T-Rex teeth that the T-Rex probably had big luscious lips protecting those chompers. So,
is this your version of single lonely MILFs in your area? Like, is this like what your
dinosaurs with big full lips?
Full lips in your area.
They did tests on like fossils of like T-Rex teeth, and they were like, oh, if the T-Rex didn't have lips covering its teeth, the teeth would be more weathered. So animatronic T-Rex, more like fake-amatronic poop Rex, big dummy.
I mean, if we're talking honestly, like dinos in Jurassic Park.
Oh yeah, no, they're not accurate.
Yeah, they look super cool, but like 98% of it is just shit that Steven Spielberg made up because he's like, that would be awesome.
And it
Velociraptors?
is in fact awesome.
Didn't the Mitchells and the Machines teach us that dinos have feathers?
Yeah.
Most likely.
And velociraptors are actually like small and more turkey sized. Those are Utah raptors.
It shouldn't get me. You're just sitting back in your chair just saying Alan, and I'm that's like the bless up moment. That's me laughing at. That's like, yeah, that's the equivalent.
I love the bless up moment. I don't even remember what episode that was, but if you're listening,
I have no idea what episode that was, but that was a great moment.
It's a great moment.
And I say bless up now normally. Yeah, like someone sneezed at work, and I just went bless up.
Yeah, I think there is so much like good, smart stuff going on in Jurassic Park as a movie. I think that to Jake's question from the first part, like digging into that connection you have to this a little bit, is this just like the first adult movie you liked and you watched a dinosaur special with your brother? Like what else is going on here?
I mean, like, I do think it like changed the way I thought about movies in a big way. Like after this, I would go on and I watched like Pirates of the Caribbean. Like that was the other like. It's like it's a Disney movie, but it's not like for kids, you know, like it's scary, right? So I think like Matt's like, I watched Saw as a
When
child.
I watched cursed YouTube videos of Saw.
Yeah. To Jake's point on like my brain needs to be studied. Yeah, unfortunately that's what happened. But you were on the Jurassic Park to Pirates of the Caribbean pipeline.
No,
Yeah,
Alex
exactly.
has like Alex is our healthy host. You know, he's like our like I
He's
can't say he's
well-adjusted.
well
Healthy,
adjusted.
well-adjusted.
Like, he was
I
like,
watched movies
yeah,
at the right time.
I went to Jurassic Park to like Pirates of the Caribbean because my brain's healthy. Like, don't flex on us because we're little weirdos, you know. And I watched Killer Clowns when I was like 5 years old. It was like, this is cinema, you know. Like that's on me. That's
Yeah, I mean, I think like both of these movies had like very fun impacts on me, right? Like,
mm-hmm.
I think Midnight in Paris was kind of like a perfect storm where it came out at the right time. I was like studying those things and I was studying philosophy, and I like watched that movie and I was like, that's what this movie is. And it validated a lot of things about myself that I look back on with shame. Versus like, I don't know, Jurassic Park, I think I like dinosaurs. Like, I don't know that I would define myself as a dinosaur kid, but like I
think you're doing
dinosaurs.
it already though.
I remember freshman year of college, you can ask my roommate, I spent hours upon hours playing the video game Ark Survival Evolved, running around on an island with a bunch of dinosaurs. I like dinosaurs. I don't know that I was a dinosaur kid, but I like dinosaurs now.
He's a dino adult.
He's a dino adult. Self-proclaimed dino adult.
Yeah.
Nice. I will say Timmy getting electrocuted is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life.
Sorry, guys. We just know a guy named Timmy. That was an aside.
Yeah, he just shot a video in the group chat.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. It was pretty funny. I just don't know how it's relevant to the podcast.
Sorry. Anyway, circling back. No, I think it's fair. Like, there is this idea that like films can be meaningful to us because they like attach to a specific point in our life and like reveal something about our character. I think is like incredibly important. Conversely, sometimes it's also just important to have movies that are like, I just like this thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's just fun and enjoyable. And like, yeah, like I like dinosaurs and this movie's got cool dinosaurs in it. Like, I don't know. There's something
great about it. We
refreshing.
don't have to psychoanalyze it. Like, it's very like, some shit's just cool, man.
Yeah. But I think we might be at that time.
Yeah. Well, Matthew said he'd vote, so.
How about that grind? I don't know what's going on in my brain.
That's why we need to psychoanalyze you.
Given the statement I just made, I'm going to go ahead and vote for Jurassic Park here. I think it's very refreshing to just like have a movie that's like, I just like this thing.
And I am going to actually vote for Midnight in Paris because I kind of like the shame. I kind of like the shame. Like, you talked, like, it had a really good reason. I thought I was going to be voting for Jurassic Park here. I really, really did. But upon our conversation, like, I really like the shame aspect. I don't know. I like it. I think it's
self-reflective. It is mature of you.
It's mature of you.
Such a good angle. I was so impressed.
It's great.
I think it's tough because in a way, I want to vote for Midnight in Paris because
I also feel like you haven't said everything you wanted to say about it. I feel like you've tiptoed around stuff.
I definitely have more to talk about with both of these movies.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think
we barely talked about Jurassic Park.
Which one's Jurassic Park?
I feel like there's something special about like Midnight in Paris and how like the shame of like what it said about me, that it meant so much to me at the time and stuff like that. But at the same time, I feel like it would be more Alex of me to vote for Jurassic Park because I like dinosaurs.
This is very true.
And so at the end of the day, I think I'm going to vote for Jurassic Park.
He's embarrassed of his shame.
Jake's unbroken streak of voting with Alex in this bracket. It's DOA, baby.
I voted for Jurassic Park if you replay the clip.
Honestly, you edit it, cut and paste, switch our voices.
That'd be so funny.
yeah, so with that, Jurassic Park advances. It will face off against Shrek in the next episode, or in the quarterfinals, semifinals.
You good there?
And
You
before we get to the
short circuited, like what's going on?
I literally did. I'm broken. But before we get there, we've got the other half of the bracket, which to remind everyone, if you want to watch alongside us, we've got TMNT 1990 versus Kung Pao Enter the Fist. And then we've got
Ninja Turtles, Teenage
Princess Bride versus 7 Days in Hell. So it should be a lot of fun.
Those are very fun. Those are very
yeah,
fun.
if you enjoyed today's episode, share it with
Alex.
Yeah, share it with an Alex.
No, our Alex.
Oh, okay.
I don't want higher ratings. I just want Alex to be bombarded with people saying like, "Hey, watch this."
Yeah, follow us on social media at Tough Cut Pod. We're on all of your favorites. Share the episode with Alex by tweeting at Tough Cut Pod.
You can mail it to his address 421 South.
I don't know if we say anything else. As I said, I'm short circuiting.
Yeah. Alex, say that thing you say at the end of the episode.
Teenage Mutant